Hello and welcome to Monona Grove High School, home of the Silver Eagles, where the Monona Grove McFarland Wrestling Consortium will be wrestling the Oregon Panthers. Going through the lineups here tonight. Sounds like we're going to be starting with the 126-pound weight class, where Michael Schlame from Oregon will be receiving a forfeit. In the 132-pound weight class, Turner Siren from Oregon will be wrestling Johnny Schlafer of Monona Grove. At 138, John Ruth of Oregon will be wrestling Quinn Halstead of Monona Grove. At 145, Zach Grunderson of McFarland will be accepting a forfeit. 152, we have Cooper King of Oregon accepting a forfeit on the sheet. We may be having some of our wrestlers shift around in weights. We might get an extra match out of that one. 160 and 170 pounds, Oregon will forfeit both of those. The victories will go to Carlos Gatica of Monona Grove and Tyson White of McFarland at 170 pounds. 182 pounds, we'll have Robbie Ruth of Oregon, a senior, wrestling against Sam Tissue of McFarland. 195, finally caught up here, shaking hands at the middle of the mat is Nate Hall of Oregon and Connor Frazier of McFarland. There you see our 220-pound Monona Grove wrestler Jake Dockner, may have been Gunther Switzer of McFarland. At 285 pounds, the heavyweight division, Christian Schlicht of Monona Grove is going to receive a forfeit. 106 and 113 pounds, Evan Rutkowski of McFarland and Cole Weaver of McFarland will be accepting forfeits. And if you could hear the overhead announcer there, at 120 pounds, we'll have another match between Colin Keast of Oregon and Ignacio Gatica of Monona Grove. Have our captains and our coaches come together for some sportsmanship, shake hands. The referee will be going over some of the ground rules. Our coaches for the night, Oregon Wrestling's coaches, Ned Lease, and our coaches for Monona Grove are Randy Becker and Doug Peterson. That flip, I believe, in a dual meet determines who will be choosing the starting position at the beginning of the second period for the first match. We'll be starting off with the 126-pound weight class. This is the one where Oregon will be receiving a forfeit. A forfeit is worth the same number of team points as a pin, so Oregon will be starting the match up 6-0.
132-pound wrestlers report.
At 132 pounds, we're going to have Turner Siren of Oregon wrestling against Johnny Schlafer of Monona Grove. If we have a wrestler reporting, there's Turner of Oregon. So we'll be getting our first match of the night of the 132-pound weight class. Interesting for Oregon, they have 7 wrestlers, 5 of whom are freshmen. So they might be having a good future here. Starting off the first period, Oregon wrestler coming out nice and aggressive, tying up, creating a little bit of space, drawing the wrestler back into the center of the mat, goes in on a double leg shot. We have Johnny Schlafer fighting it off. Turner's looks like he's gonna get around. Just needs to finish that off inbounds. There we go, not quite, didn't quite get awarded the points, hasn't maintained control of Johnny. Johnny's reaching for that ankle. Probably dig his hand in, try to separate his head. There we go. Turner gets around for the takedown, controls the hips of Johnny Schlafer, and he gets 2 points to start the match. We're a minute into the 2-minute first period here. Johnny Schlafer getting up close to an escape, doesn't quite separate, doesn't quite get to a neutral. If he escapes, he'll earn 1 point. For those of you listening who may not be as familiar with wrestling, see that looked like another takedown, but since there was never an escape, that was just a maintaining of the top position by Turner Siren of Oregon. 2 points for a takedown, 1 point after you have been taken down when you get up and out and achieve a neutral position again. While you are after a takedown, while you're riding on top as the wrestlers head out of bounds, Johnny Schlafer will start in the bottom position, Turner Siren on top. So what Johnny's goal here is to turn, well, Johnny's goal is to get out, pardon me, for Monona Grove. Turner is trying to turn Johnny onto his back. Everybody's familiar with the pin. If you control a wrestler, both of their shoulder blades on the mat, the match is over. There we go, the end of the first period. We'll be entering the second period with our Oregon wrestler getting the choice of which position they will start in. He defers to the third period, as is common practice, and Monona Grove will begin in the bottom position. Also common to choose the bottom position when you do have to make a choice. That way you're showing some confidence in yourself that you'll be able to get an escape, earn that so-called free point. Almost got out on a very, very risky roll. And he's achieved getting up to his feet. Now what he needs to do is stay in bounds and get some separation. Didn't quite get it. Turner Siren, ooh, he also gets in a half Nelson. He's going to start to run that over. You see the referee start to count. He got to a 2 count. I think he had to reset. Hasn't gotten any further. Okay, and we lose that hold. Okay, so 2 back points were awarded. If you expose the other wrestlers back to the mat for anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds, you earn back points. For 2 to 4 seconds would be worth 2 points. 5 seconds or more are worth 3. Looks like we have a blood timeout here. A little bit of blood on the appears Oregon wrestler Turner Siren's hand or wrist. Slight pause in the action while we clean up any blood. So we're going to start again with Johnny Schlafer of Monona Grove in the bottom position. Hasn't earned that escape yet. With Turner Siren, the freshman from Oregon, up 4-0 in this match. So we have a blood timeout. It looks like we've cleaned up and stopped all of the bleeding on the wrestler. Now we're just going to clean up the mat a little bit. Make sure we have it spick and span. Now we're ready to go. All right, Turner Siren still on top. Johnny Schlafer working to get out. Down 0-4 with a little over a minute in this second period. He's gotten himself up. He needs to break those hands and get himself around. Not quite there. Oh, he's got exposed, but only for a second or so. That's not gonna qualify for any back points for our Oregon wrestler. Johnny Schlafer working up to his base, trying to get a strong base underneath him. Almost sat out his hips. Once you sit out your hips, you're in a good position to win a scramble, maybe get a reversal. That's essentially where you skip the escape. You go directly into having control. You earn 2 points for that, similar to a takedown. Looks like we temporarily had a half Nelson and didn't quite turn that over though. 6 seconds, 5 seconds left in this. Ooh, this would be a great time to sneak out and earn that point. Didn't quite get it. Still a very close match in this 132-pound weight class. After 2 periods, Oregon is up 4-0. They're winning after the forfeit to start, they're up 6-0 in the overall team competition. If you win via points under 8 points, you earn your team 3 points. For over 8 points, you get 4 for the team. And for anything over 15, we stop the match and call it a technical fall, kind of a technical pin. And for a pin, the match ends immediately. Turner Siren has had quite a bit of success here riding on top, so he chooses that to begin the 3rd period. We're 30 seconds in. He's still controlling our Monona Grove wrestler. Hasn't quite earned any back points yet this period, but 37 seconds into the final period of this match, he has maintained control on top. Still in a bit of a precarious situation. He would really only take one move here, and Johnny Schlafer is right back in the match. He earns the reversal on that switch, and now he knows that he needs to do some quick work. He's got 1 minute and 10 seconds, down 2. He's either got to expose this wrestler's back to the mat, or he's going to have to let him up and take him down again. He's working on that leg. He's going to want to hop up and get on those hips. He's going to maintain the single leg, trip him down. In this scenario, he's hoping for a little bit of a scrum. He's got in a bit of a half Nelson, maybe a 3/4. Takes it out, tries the other side. He's got to do some quick work here with 35 seconds left. He gets in a half, but he's not down, doesn't have control. Pops over the leg. He gets the wrestler onto his back. Oh, and with the twist, Turner Siren turns him right back over. I think we're going to get 2 back points for Johnny Schlafer, but that is all she wrote. Turner Siren with the pin. An impressive reversal straight onto Johnny's back. Good counter. It was a nice fight at the end there. With that win, the points awarded just don't matter because we got a pin there. So 16 points are awarded to Oregon, and they go up 12-0 in this team match. Moving on to the 138-pound weight class. We're going to have John Ruth, a freshman from Oregon, wrestling Quinn Alstead of Monona Grove. Got a quick tie-up. Looks like a head and arm. Oregon wrestler can't quite get around, but he has some advantage. He has the leg wrapped up. Also, lets go of the ankle. Having control of that ankle is really great for controlling that bottom wrestler, but in that position where he had him off on the side, you don't want to lose it because it has to be called off for safety. He's got him on his back. He's gotten his back points. Right now, he's just working him down. He switches his hold. He's going to try to maintain his weight on top of that wrestler on bottom. We've got 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the first period, and the pin is called. 47 seconds into that first period. That was good aggressive wrestling from John Ruth, the freshman from Oregon. Got in there, quick shot, worked his way to a takedown, immediately started working pinning combinations, and turned him over, got the pin. Oregon's up here 18-0 in the team competition. They're wrestling very well. 145, they're going to go ahead and forfeit. They just don't have a wrestler for that weight class. They're unfortunately probably not carrying enough wrestlers to get a victory tonight. Actually, they could tie. They do have 7. They'll be giving up 7 forfeits. Of the 3 matches that have been wrestled, they do have 3 pins. So with 4 more pins, they could manage a tie. So 145, saw that.
152, Cooper King.
Forfeit. Cooper King of Oregon at the 152-pound weight class. Who's he wrestling? Who's he wrestling?
What?
Who's he wrestling? Who's supposed to be a forfeit? I'm uncertain exactly who this wrestler is that we're getting at 152 for Monona Grove McFarland. It was listed as a forfeit. They may have just bumped around some wrestlers in order to have a couple more matches tonight. Anyway, that was a good shot and a good sprawl from our Monona Grove McFarland wrestler. Cooper King aggressively getting back in on a double leg. See how he has both legs there. Didn't quite get enough penetration. Probably started with a little bit too much separation before starting that shot. Still in the neutral position. Just right of center in the mat. Circling each other, feeling each other out. We're about a minute into this first period in the 152-pound weight class. Oregon's coming out very aggressively in these matches. Lots of quick moves, quick setup and go, quick setup and go. Keeping a strong stance. Swings in on, looks like he started it as a single leg, turned it into a double. Ooh, the Monona Grove McFarland wrestler almost took control there. Goes in for the high crotch, not there. He's working it, trying to, and they wind up out of bounds. We're going to start at neutral with 18 seconds or so left in this first period. Quick shot. Nice aggressive start to that reset from our wrestler from Monona Grove McFarland. About 5 seconds here, maybe a late flurry. Otherwise, we're going to enter the second period tied up 0-0 in the 152-pound weight class. Monona Grove McFarland defers, and McFarland starts the second period down. Again, looking to get that so-called free point for the escape. Also, some wrestlers are just extremely comfortable down there working for a reversal. Quick escape, under 5 seconds. Gets back on his feet, and Oregon takes the 1-0 lead early in the second period. Strong tie-up. See, they're tied up there, ear to ear. Looks like we're trying to maybe work an underhook from the Monona Grove McFarland wrestler on his right side. Tried a little throw there. Just still kind of feeling him out. Looks like he's going for double underhooks, but he gives up the hip toss. He might be able to sneak out. Is he able to sneak out the back door? Not quite. Control is awarded. He's getting back points. Cooper King, he's going to try to ride this out. Arches back. Listening for the call. Okay, not a pin. What happened there is the pinning combination. When you have a pinning combination, you have to encapsulate an arm and the head. You can never only have the head locked up. So what happens there is Oregon is awarded 2 points for the takedown. They also got 3 near fall points, those back points that we referred to, technically, I believe, referred to as near fall points. So they're going to be up 5-0. As that arm slipped out, it looks like. So I thought that maybe the arm had slipped out. It looks like maybe we may have had a little more blood here. Generally, if it's just it's not a penalty. There's no foul associated with a situation like that. But usually we would just start right back up. Looks like they're cleaning off both wrestlers, so looks like maybe that hold just maybe given most likely a nosebleed. Yeah, it looks like they're cleaning up that spot as well. Again, there's no penalty associated, no foul. You just have to stop the match immediately for safety reasons as soon as blood is visible. So between the escape to start the period and then our 5-point throw, 2 points for the takedown, 3 points for the near fall, I believe we'll be starting 6-0. Oh, and it looks like because we were in a pinning combination, the scoreboard is reflecting the score as 7-0. As we were in a pinning combination, it looks like 1 additional point was awarded to the Oregon wrestler Cooper King. Again, a freshman. Starting the match off here with 4 freshmen at the 126, 132, 138, and 152 weight classes. We'll finish it off at 120 with another freshman. Looks like we're all cleaned up. We're going to start back up here. Again, Monona Grove, McFarland going to start in the bottom position as they were taken down to start, or at the end of wrestling there. Wind up out of bounds. We'll just start back up with our Monona Grove wrestler around the bottom. Out of bounds, we haven't had too much wrestling at the perimeters. A little interesting compared to a lot of other sports that we're used to. Oh, looks like he almost got a switch. Instead, it turns into an escape. They are neutral, and we have been awarded 1 point for Monona Grove McFarland, making the score in this match 7-1. They're out of bounds, and we'll start neutral again with 48 seconds left in the second period. Squaring up, kind of some loose shots. To see if you can catch that opposing wrestler in a lean. Now we're going to get another nice strong tie-up here again, ear to ear. Those tie-ups can sometimes be a crutch. You actually usually want to be able to create space, not take that space away. For most traditional takedowns when you're going to shoot in on someone's legs. Might use that tie-up in more of a throwing situation. We're going to try to throw someone directly onto their back, or you can also, again, try to get your opponent leaning as we finish the second period. Cooper King up 7-1 over our Monona Grove McFarland wrestler. Apologies again for not having this wrestler's name. It was listed as a forfeit, and it looks like we had some last-minute changes. Monona Grove McFarland starts on the bottom. He gets up, but he had given up the ankle, wasn't quite able to pry that loose. Getting a strong base, sitting out. Now he's going to have to work back up into that strong base. Started to lean back, started to reach back. That is a tendency you really want to fight, except in just the right moments. Anytime you lean back like that, you might feel like you're getting a good, and with the switch, he's going to get 2 points for that reversal to make it 7-3. Quick escape makes it 8-3, Oregon wrestler. They were awarded the escape. It was neutral, so that will count as a takedown. It's 8-5, and with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this match, looks like we're going to see if we can get any back points, if we can turn this wrestler over. If he wanted to go and continue to do earn some takedowns, try to chip away at this lead, he would probably be letting him up already, but instead he is going to ride this wrestler out and try to turn him. We're going to need to see a little bit more action from this Oregon wrestler. There he goes, working his way back up. Does not. They got to their feet, but he did not square himself, turn himself around, achieve a neutral stance. And so we are going to start with the Oregon wrestler on the bottom, up 8-5. We're going to be looking to get either a 3-point near fall in these last 35 seconds, or else we're going to need a pin for Monona Grove McFarland in order to pull off this victory. Lifts him up, Gets him back down to the mat. You see you can lock your hands around the wrestler when they get to their feet. As soon as they're down, you gotta let go of that. Now he's gonna work on that head and neck. He's hoping to stick in. The 3/4 Nelson, he has 15 seconds. 15 seconds. If he's not making good progress here, he might just want to let him up and see if he can throw him. He's got 8 seconds. 8 seconds. He almost has in a 3/4 half. Can he get his hips around? You can get that arm in, but you have to, absolutely must, swing those hips to that same side so you can run it over. Isn't able to do it. Looks like we're going to get an 8-5 victory. So victory by decision. Cooper King of Oregon wins 8-5. He's going to earn 3 team points for that, putting our total team score at 21-6. Oregon is in the lead.
At 170 pounds, Sam Tissue.
It looks like it was Carlos Gatica wrestling in that 152-pound match. And we've gone, maybe we did a double forfeit then at 160, 170. Tyson White of McFarland just accepted the forfeit victory. And now at 182 pounds.
At 182 pounds, we'll have Robbie Ruth taking on Tyson White.
All right, as we have listed here, it's going to be Robbie Ruth, the senior from Oregon, taking on Sam Tissue of McFarland. Oregon wrestler gets a strong tie-up. Had the head, but we are able to pop that out. Sam Tissue works it back to a very neutral stance. Looks like we're going to be out of bounds, and we're going to start back in a neutral position. Both wrestlers ready to go. Those Oregon wrestlers really coming out aggressively. Ooh, they caught him off guard. We're going to have 2 points for the takedown awarded eventually. Actually, those points are awarded immediately. We will eventually get those 3 near fall points. They're awarded after the pinning combination. We're gonna need a big fight here from Sam Tissue. Looks like he has quite a bit of his back up off the mat, but he can't give an inch, maybe an inch. He's going to have a good fight here. He's got 1 minute and 10 seconds left in this first period, and he is able to get himself back over, but was not able to break the hold. And on the reset, Robbie Ruth, the senior from Oregon, is able to get a little better positioning and get the victory. Again, another win via pin for Oregon. Puts their lead on the team score. Looks like our scoreboard is only showing them having 20 points going into that match, but I believe that should have been 21. Should put them up at 27 team points. A couple of forfeits previously, I believe we're at 18 for.
12 to 27.
Sounds like we're at 12 for Monona Grove McFarland. There we go. It's corrected on our scoreboard in the arena. Sounds like we might have had that correct on our graphics. They're calling out the 195-pound weight class here.
All right, at 195 pounds, Connor Frazier wins by forfeit.
So Connor Frazier of McFarland is going to win by forfeit here in this match. Nate Hall of Oregon is listed as a 195-pound wrestler. Looks like he'll be wrestling at 220 tonight. Indeed. Nate Hall, the junior from Oregon.
Nate Hall is going to wrestle Jake Doctor.
He's going to wrestle Jake Doctor of Monona Grove at the 220-pound weight class. These higher weight classes, you're going to see quite a bit more of this in most matches, a lot more tying up. a lot more pushing on your opponent, pulling on your opponent, trying to get them off balance that way, as opposed to trying to create a little bit of separation and shoot in on their legs at this 220-pound weight class. That's quite a feat to get in on someone's legs as they sprawl down, work yourself back up, and earn the takedown. So you'll see a lot of takedowns via these tie-ups. They will go in on legs, but usually at a little bit more of an angle after a throw, or directly from a throw into a takedown without going in on the hips or the legs. Oregon wrestler being very active on the hands, as our Monona Grove wrestler Jake Doctor is being forced to chase him around the mat a little bit for a while there. I don't necessarily think that either is stalling. Ooh, just a straight snap down, and Nate Hall gets the takedown. You'll notice on that one, that was just like we were talking about with the pushing and pulling. He was able to push enough that just as his opponent, just as Jake started to lean forward, he was snapped him down from like the back of the head, back of the neck, kind of base of the head, straight down to the mat. Looks like he gets an arm, and he's running over. Kind of an awkward pinning combination. I believe he earned some back points. Yeah, it looks like the ref is holding on to 3. Oh, he has an arm bar there. Okay. Makes a little bit more sense. Hard at this angle to see, but that's going to be pretty difficult, I would say, to get an actual pin, but he does earn himself 3 back points. So Nate Hall of Oregon exits the first period up 5-0. So to start the second period, I believe that was Nate Hall's choice to choose the top position. Felt like he had some success, and it's so far been a good choice here. He almost immediately gets Jake into a pinning combination. He's earned all of his back points. The referee's holding off on giving those points. And that is in the case where you are close to a technical fall. There's the pin. Oregon, small but mighty tonight. Nate Hall gets the pin in the 220-pound weight class. According to the weigh-ins, he had qualified for that 195-pound weight class. I don't know the exact weights of any of our wrestlers, but was likely giving up a few pounds in that match, and really displayed some good skill on his snap down. Good takedown, and then was really an aggressive rider on top. Earned some back points in that first period. Then, not too surprisingly, chose top as he was able to turn him over again. This is Christian Schlicht, of Monona Grove. He is accepting a forfeit at the 285-pound weight class. At the 106-pound weight class, Evan Retkowski of McFarland, a freshman, he will be accepting a forfeit as well. We're going to have another forfeit at the 113-pound weight class as Evan gets his hand raised. 113 pounds, another McFarland freshman, Cole Weaver, will be accepting that forfeit victory. Oregon has put on a pretty impressive display with their the few wrestlers that they do have. So after this forfeit, they're actually going to be winning 33-30 in the team match. Forfeit accepted. In the 120-pound weight class, we'll have Colin Keast of the Oregon Panthers wrestling Ignacio. Oh, we might have.
At 120 pounds, Colin Keast will wrestle Cole Weaver.
Oh, All right, it looks like Ignacio Gattaca took the forfeit at 113. Cole Weaver will be wrestling the McFarland freshman for Monona Grove McFarland. And that will be Colin Keast, the freshman from Oregon. And this is our last match of the evening at this weight class, the 120-pound weight class, as we started at the 126-pound weight class. What a quick takedown from Colin of Oregon. Actually exposed his back there to the mat briefly, but not enough control, not long enough to earn any back points on that one. Looks like he has worked the leg in. No, he actually hasn't quite worked that leg in, but he was just kind of had a little ankle control with it. We get a sit out from Cole. Leans a little bit too much, and the Oregon wrestler Colin was able to suck him back. Looks like we are not going to have any back points awarded. I think he got one count, but as the referee indicated by kind of putting his hand up and down, just never quite turned it. That's one of the problems with that armbar that the wrestler had. As soon as you pull it past a certain angle on your opposing wrestler's back, it's considered unsafe for the joints, and we have to reset. As you can see, with all of our blood timeout and a couple of these resets, the safety and long-term health of our wrestlers is a top priority. Looks like we didn't have enough control, didn't have long enough hold for that one. He's got a leg. He had a hand in the leg, and he was running him over. He's got a deep shoulder hold. Right now we're going to need to see Cole Weaver control those hands, get some hand control on the bottom, work his hips up, and get a strong base that he can get up onto his feet, or have a sit out where he might be able to earn a reversal with a switch. Colin Keast, the freshman from Oregon, really wrestling very well on top, but unable to earn any back points after that early takedown. It's probably somewhere around 1 minute and 45 seconds of riding time, but no near fall points to show for it. If he ever does move on into collegiate wrestling, I believe it's 1 minute and 40 is the point where you would be awarded a point at the end of the match for ride time. But in folk style wrestling, as we do at the high school level, there is no count kept of ride time. Precarious situation for both wrestlers there. But it does look like the Oregon wrestler is able to maintain control after starting this period on top. He's starting to get some back points counted. Looks like he got to a 2 count. He's still in the same hold, so even though the back's no longer exposed, we're holding off on those points. There we go with the 2 near fall. Cole Weaver of McFarland is in a fairly good position as far as getting out. He needs to pop up to those legs and get a little separation. There we go. He earns the escape, and Oregon immediately goes with a throw just out of bounds. The out of bounds, it's a little fuzzy in wrestling. Think of each wrestler as having 4 main points of contact, easy to see when you're on your feet. As soon as you are considered inbounds until 3 of those points of contact are out of bounds. 1 point was just awarded to Cole Weaver of Monona Grove McFarland. It looks like we are going to have the head coach of Oregon, ask the referee to come to the scorer's table to explain the nature of that one. I believe it was for an aggressive blow to the head. Yeah, so we're going to restart this match with 1 minute left in the second period. Oregon wrestler Colin Keast up 4-2 over Cole Weaver of McFarland. Starting in the neutral position. That tight tie-up. Unusual to see such tight tie-ups in these lower weight classes, but we've had quite a quite a bit of success here from Colin Keast of Oregon in those. Out of bounds, we're going to start with 35 seconds left in the second period in the neutral position. Wrestler circling, deep double leg, gets the takedown. 2 points are awarded. He's going to try to keep them in bounds so that he can work for the pin, work to turn that wrestler over. 13 seconds left, 10 seconds left here in the second period with Oregon up 6-2. After that previous forfeit, Monona Grove is up in the team score 36-33. So a win by decision for Oregon will tie this match at 36 each. And it is our final match. We are entering our final period of the evening, assuming we don't have any overtime fireworks in this match. Oregon wrestler is able to get a good grab on the hip. Cole Weaver tries to make a throw. It doesn't look like he's going to turn him over, but he fails to get his hips behind, loses control, and Colin from Oregon, Colin Keast, gets the takedown to go up 8-2 in this match. Looks like he's working pretty hard to get in a half Nelson. See how as soon as he gets a little bit of daylight, as soon as he gets that hand just through that armpit and up onto that neck, he hops over and tries to run it through. I believe there was a blood call again. Yeah, looks like we have a little bit of blood. We're gonna take a momentary break. There's a 1 minute and 16 seconds left in this period in our last match at the 120-pound weight class. Kind of interesting, about 15 or so years ago, there was a break in high school wrestling, not a break, but a change. We used to always start with the lowest weight class and just work up to the heavyweights. About 15 years ago or so, maybe 20, showing my age here, started doing a random assignment during weigh-ins, I believe is when they determine it, and pick a weight class and you wrestle through from there. So you still go in the same order, but still feels kind of interesting to me having a match end with the 120-pound weight class. A little more fun gets spread around. The excitement of that final match. The team score here, 36 for Monona Grove McFarland and 33 for Oregon. You get 3 points for a victory by points, 4 if it's 8 points or more, 5 team points for 15 or more, called a technical fall, and 6 team points for a forfeit or a pin also known as a fall. So a lot riding on this match. If Oregon picks up any sort of victory, they will tie or win the match. When with a minute and 16 seconds left, looks like a point was awarded to Monona Grove McFarland wrestler Cole Weaver on that stoppage. Oregon comes out and gets a takedown and immediately to the back. Looks like we still fighting, keeping a leg up, keeping one of his shoulders up. Oregon wrestler at this point is up 13-3. He's going to be pretty happy to just ride out this match. He's going to have to maintain some level of aggressiveness. It looks like that wound opened up a little bit more. So we're going to have another blood timeout. So what we're going to want to see from Cole Weaver here, coming out of this blood timeout, he's going to have 49 seconds with a 10-point differential to make up. That's a lot of takedowns. Have to get about 8 takedowns, giving up some escapes. You just probably don't have that much time available for you. So looks what he's going to want to do is just immediately get up to those feet, get himself into a neutral position, and start working some throws. Try to get a hip toss, anything you can do to put that opposing wrestler directly onto their back. A pin is going to be one of the only ways out of this match for him to get the victory. He's going to be starting down with 49 seconds left. His team is up 36-33, but Oregon's Colin Keast is winning this particular match 13-3. If it ended right now, that would be a major decision worth 14 points, and Oregon would take this dual meet 37-36. Colin Keast is he's got himself a little bit off to the side. He's not just maintaining hip pressure. He is working on trying to get some pinning combinations. So there's little worry at this point for him to get called for stalling. Cole Weaver fighting to maintain that position as the clock runs out, and Oregon wrestler Colin Keast is able to get the major decision 13-3 over Cole Weaver of McFarland. There was some believe finagling of weights there to get some nice matches. That was a pretty even match. With that, the team score goes to Oregon in this match. They win 37-36. An impressive showing from their 7 wrestlers. Great job, nice aggressiveness, and they earn the victory. Thank you for joining us this evening at Monona Grove High School for this high school wrestling event. Have a good night.